And we're going to be playing a lot of Sting's greatest hits in the coming weeks, man. We are home stretching it for Sting's last match. If you haven't already, go grab those tickets now, AEWTIX.com. It's going to be here before you know it. Of course, appreciate everybody tuning in to Dynamite tonight, where you'll see Tony Schiavone and maybe we'll see Sting. But we do know for sure that we've got an absolutely loaded card. We should also mention that this Saturday, another Collision, you're back on the road, back at it. And then next Wednesday, we're only like a week away as folks are listening to this, AEW in Huntsville. How about that, Tony? Sting's last television appearance on either Dynamite or Collision. Both are going down Wednesday, February 28th in Huntsville, Alabama. I'll be there. You should be too. AEWTIX.com. This is going to be fun, man. The home stretch for Sting's last match.
What are we doing in Huntsville? What the hell?
Now, hanging out with me and going to Rosie's, maybe. I don't know.
Comedy Club still there?
It's still there, yes, sir. Stand Up Live doing their thing.
Yeah, I saw Andrew Dice Clay there with you. It was pretty cool.
Cheap plug, our buddy Cassio's there tomorrow.
Cassio's there tomorrow.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on Wednesday, tomorrow on Thursday, Cassio Kid will be at Stand Up Live.
Yeah, JR and I were there, remember, one time on stage. So
it's cool. A fun day.
Yeah, so look forward to being back at the Probst Center. I guess is that what it's called now, the Probst Center?
Yeah, Probst Arena or whatever.
Yeah. So what happened to the one that was named after how come
it's still all named that, but they've added to it. So they have a Mars Music Hall and they have a Mark C. Smith Concert Hall.
Oh, wow.
And blah, blah, blah. So they've just continued to expand and add. So they've got like this Rhythm on Monroe rooftop restaurant and all that. All of it together is called the Von Braun Center, which is what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
The actual arena is the Probst Arena.
Got it.
And I guess Probst was one of our first billionaires up here in North Alabama. He had some drug manufacturing company, I think. I mean, it started out as just a drugstore, but then eventually he got into the real biz. And I think he's running around town in one of Sam Walton's old jets. So he's done okay.
I guess he has.
Yeah, I guess he did just fine.
And of course, Huntsville has been named in many lists as one of the top places to live in America.
Yeah, it's the fastest growing city in Alabama, and it's sort of a cultural oasis, I suppose, from the rest of Alabama because of Redstone Arsenal. So you've got, we lead the country in things like we have more PhDs per capita than anywhere else in the country, but we also lead the nation in divorce and DUIs. So we're really smart people who make really poor life choices.
Well, we look forward to being there, really do. And it is the go-home shows for our big event.
Dynamite and Collision go home before AEW Revolution. Sting's last match is what everybody knows it as. AEWTIX.com. I know what you're thinking. Tickets are sold out. Well, here's the thing. As you get closer and closer, they have these things called production kills. So don't think you're squeezed out just yet. I know for sure this happened in Huntsville, Tony. A lot of my friends said, hey, I wanted to go to AEW, but tickets are sold out. They're not sold out. They just hadn't released all the tickets or put them on sale yet. So check back because tickets are still available for both Huntsville and a handful for Greensboro. And if I had to bet, a few more from Greensboro will open up. I won't be in Greensboro, but I'm not going to miss it on pay-per-view. It's going to be an emotional night, Sting's last match, is it not?
Yeah, in many ways it's going to be. Sting's family's going to be there. He's invited a couple of his friends there. So it's going to be an emotional night for me. And it's going to be an emotional night for Ric Flair, who's going to be there as well. So, and the fact that if you think about Sting and Flair and Clash of the Champions, and I was there to call it, and how much the Greensboro Coliseum means to me as a wrestling fan, because that was my go-to place during all my fandom years back in the 70s. It means a lot to me. It really does. So with that in mind, I really personally look forward to this night.
I know you're not one to do this sort of thing, but you really ought to get a picture of you and Rick and Sting in front of the Greensboro Coliseum. Y'all should do a photo together.
That would be cool.
I mean, just for your personal collection. I'm not
Yeah.
saying for everybody else, but, and I wish, thoughts and prayers to our buddy Jim Ross. He's still on the comeback trail.
Right.
But man, I know he really wanted to call that match. I don't know that that's going to be possible. I hope
Yeah.
so. Thoughts and prayers with JR, but man, to know that you and him worked together, one of the first times y'all worked together was calling Sting and Flair
Right.
in Greensboro at the first Clash. To think that there was almost a chance to do that again, and maybe there
Right.
still is. Let's cross our fingers.
Yeah. I
Wouldn't
think
that
I
be
said
something?
yeah, it would be great. I wanted to do that match with JR. I did.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I think I said 87. It was 88 when we called the match. So,
yeah.
and
Heads up of WrestleMania 4.
right. And JR and I had been working together less than a year. We had done some things. He had started on TBS with us, and so it was a good time. It was great memories. I'm so glad. I've said this many times. I'm so honored to be a part of Sting's career and Flair's career, and many wrestlers' careers. Arn Tully, Barry Windham, Midnight Express, Jim Cornette, all of that. If you see some of the photos of them, there I am holding the microphone. So it was a wonderful time. The 80s were a wonderful time in my career. And Conrad, I know you were merely a kid in the 80s, a youngster.
Yeah, sure.
But the 80s are my favorite time, my favorite decade. And I didn't really grow up during the 80s. I grew up during the 70s. But in the 80s, I got married, and the music was wonderful. Got great movies that I remember. Lois and I went to a couple of concerts. We were raising children. She was raising children more than I was, because I was on the road with a baseball team for a while, and then with baseball and wrestling, and then baseball left in wrestling. So I was on the road a lot, but I really, really miss the 80s. To the point I was telling her this the other day. When I dream a lot, I dream of the 80s. So it was a great time. 80s it was a great time. It was a great time to be a wrestling fan, because that's when TBS on a national level became a big deal for wrestling fans. So it was a good time, and I miss it. I really do. And that's when I met Sting. That's when I met Flair. That's when I worked with those guys. So I really miss the 80s. I do.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.